Captain Underpants. Now there's something I never thought I'd see. Captain Underpants is directed by David Soren. He also directed the animated film Turbo and was a story artist on Over the Hedge and Shrek. Kevin Hart, Tom Middleditch and Ed Helms provide the three main voices in this film. The story sees two kids, George and Harold, hypnotize their principal into thinking that he's a superhero of their own creation, Captain Underpants. Now, even though this was a fairly low-budget film, the animation was actually quite neat. It's mainly in 3D, but there are some nice moments of 2D, Stop-O-Rama, and sock puppets, which are all really nicely used, and those segments are actually inserted quite seamlessly into the film. And that's mainly because of the transitions. The characters will sometimes grab the camera and shift it to follow them into the next scene, or they'll grab the corner of the screen and pull it down as if it's a page of a book. And it happens at least once anyway, maybe twice. The characters are in the middle of a scene, they're all talking, and then all of a sudden big huge hands come up and pick them up like dolls, and then it transitions to the next scene where they're just playing with little toys. And I just thought it was a nice and creative thing that helps this movie stand out from other animations. And finally you had the story, script and dialogue of the movie, which is where it kind of really fell apart for me. And I think that's mainly about the way they decided to execute it. Let me start with things I did like about it. The two main characters write comics, and what I really liked about that was it actually did feel like it was kids writing them. The dialogue did suit kids, it really felt like it was from the imaginations of children, and just something they would create. And there were a few scenes where they were in their treehouse, and that really did remind me back from when I was a kid. That's what I think this film does do really well. It does remind you of being a child. There were nice fourth wall breaking moments in the film where they would talk about specific characters, or like I said earlier, when they would do various transitions. And there were even some jokes that will go over kids' heads and is really for the adults. Like, if I remember correctly, there was this moment where someone asks if the other person was ever a camp counselor, and the other responds, "No, but as a child I did receive counseling." That made me laugh. And now for where this film really falls apart. There are a lot of poop and fart jokes. Surprising, I know. Like, there's this orchestra scene where Captain Underpants is the conductor, but instead of orchestra music, it's whoopee cushions. Yeah. And then you have the villain of the film, Professor Poopy Pants. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. And what did he want to do? He wanted to rid the world of laughter. That's all I can tell you about his character. The pacing of the movie was a little bit slow, especially the first 20 minutes, because Captain Underpants isn't really in the first 20 minutes, other than in a comic book. And then what I found really odd about the film was there was two musical moments. The characters out of nowhere would just break into song for 30 seconds. But what made that even worse was that none of them could actually sing. I'm pretty sure I was just watching like this. It was really cringeworthy. And the jokes really did get repetitive. Even the good ones. Like when they figure out how to change the principal from Captain Underpants and back to the principal and vice versa. They just keep doing it again and again and again. You see where I'm going with this? There are a couple of things I felt that really would have improved the movie, other than less poop and fart jokes. The first one being with the principal. A couple of times they go in and look at why he is the way he is, but I feel they only just scratched the surface with that. They could have really gone into that a bit deeper and explored that a bit more. And the second thing is that there were really good messages in the movie, however in the final act they're just spelled out for you. The characters basically say word for word what the message is. I felt that if that was a little bit more subtle and not so much in your face, it might have also helped improve the movie. So what can I say about Captain Underpants? I mean, did I go into this film thinking there'd be no poop jokes? No. Would someone? No. But there is the occasional nice adult joke that will just go completely over the kid's head. And I think there's a line towards the end of the film that summarizes it perfectly for me. Even though many of the jokes are completely juvenile and the lowest form of comedy, it's still pretty funny. At times, anyway. I would give Captain Underpants a 4.9 out of 10. I don't think I'd recommend anyone to go see it in cinema. If you have kids, I would just wait for it to be on a streaming service, or if you ever find it really cheap on DVD. If they're still at that age where they enjoy poop and fart jokes. But if they're past that age or you don't want to encourage them with that kind of humour, avoid the movie. So have you seen Captain Underpants, or do you think you're going to avoid it? Did you ever read the book series that this movie was based on? Did it stick close to this series? I'm really curious to know because I actually never even heard of this franchise until I saw the trailer. Comment below and tell me what your thoughts were. And while you're here, why not like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the next movie review that I put online. Until next time, see ya.